In this video, we will talk about Classic Palm, two types of Classic Palm, as well as a fun little subtlety on Classic Palm that I'll show you that I'm sure you'll find beneficial. So first, Classic Palm is where the coin is gripped in the palm of the hand. But there are two types. There's a type that I prefer, where you squeeze at the base of the pinky and the base of the thumb here. And by engaging both those muscles with the coin more towards the center of the palm, you can get the hand pretty flat, right? It's not super flat, but if you have some motion going, this can be an easy way to kind of conceal a coin with the hand looking very flat and natural. Of course, if you pause, there's some tension in here, and there's some tension in this pinky. You can see there's a bit of a kind of dimple here. The other way that I don't use, so I'm not very good at it, so patience please, is to hold it with just the thumb. And your thumb kind of comes over and squeezes the coin in like this. And this way you don't have to have the pinky dimple because this muscle in here is not working. And you can still grab between the first finger and thumb, but your thumb is hidden most of the time because it's way more bent over. Now the benefit of this palm is that it's better for doing a muscle pass, right? When the coin shoots out of the hand. If you're looking for a muscle pass that shoots really high, this type of Classic Palm, where you're a bit farther over towards the base of the thumb and the hand really comes over and grips it, pushing down more into the center. This points the coin up more. It's easier for it to release off the thumb and it will shoot higher. I don't use that method. I use the Classic Palm that's more towards the center of the palm. This allows your hands to get a lot more flat, and you can still very much muscle pass from this position. Not as high, and I don't do a very high vertical muscle pass. That's the extent of it there, but there are other substitutes to the anti-gravity coin. That's one that I taught in my Project Mythos. So I don't really need to get a high muscle pass. You can do a lot with this as a utility move, but we'll talk about that in a future video. So let's go over specifics of this move. For me, the coin is right around the center of my palm, and you're gonna have a sweet spot. So you're gonna wanna move it around a bit and find your sweet spot. But when you do, you'll find that keeping the thumb back, not bending at any of these joints in here, but just bending at this base of the muscle, like this, like we're trying to move this part of the thumb in towards this part of the hand, from here to here, and get some skin to overlap that coin. You can also engage this muscle a little bit. It doesn't move very far, but this muscle does move. Think about it as if you're flexing the base of your pinky here. You're trying to pull these two muscles in together to get just enough of a grip on that coin. You don't need much at all. It can be very subtle, and you can grip that coin like so. And as you can see, the hand looks very tense, so you don't want to freeze in this position with the hand flat. This is great as a kind of gesture, and then you bring the fingers back together, because as the fingers come together, the hand looks a lot more natural. In this position, you can pick something up, you can rotate it between the fingers, you can hold a Sharpie. There's a lot you can do from this position. So, how do you get into this palm? Well, the way to practice it is to place the coin on the second and third finger at the tips. Place your first finger and thumb together. This is a David Roth tip. And then pull the coin directly in, push it into that sweet spot. Push it in, and then engage with the base of that thumb. And then you get into Classic Palm. So, why the first finger and thumb? Well, David Roth taught this because many people would do this when they would get into Classic Palm. The thumb would stick out. And if you just did maybe you do like a type of retention where the coin's just in fingertip rest, like this. We'll talk about that in a different video. But you do this type of retention, and now you want to go to Classic Palm. If you did this, it's a huge tell, right? This unnecessary movement, right? And every movement communicates something. So we want to be careful about unnecessary movements. Whereas if you were here, you did type of retention, and your first finger and thumb are together, and you do that move as you come to rest. You don't have any huge tell, and now you have the coin in classic palm. Of course, you still have some movement doing this, right? The thumb does flex out and back, but that movement can be covered with the larger motion of the hand coming back to rest, right? In this situation, I just flex that elbow out. You don't want to do that. You want this hand to stay very relaxed as it comes to rest. So that's how you'll practice the classic palm. Let's talk about a fun subtlety on this. This is something I've been doing for a while, and it's just that you take the pinky, you push it forward just a little bit like this, and keep it very straight so that you engage this muscle a little bit, and the coin can actually sit there. You don't have to grip with the thumb at all. The thumb can release, and the coin can sit there. This can be a really nice way to gesture. Right? You can turn a little bit, but your hand can be really, really flat, and you can get quite vertical before that coin will fall off. So this is a nice way to just open your hands, and then you could even close back into classic palm. Oops. You can close back into classic palm if you want to turn over, and as you come up, you can release with the thumb if you get comfortable in this position. But keep the thumb from looking like that. It might look more like this. So it can be a kind of in-between position when your hands are more palm up. That is the techniques and ways to practice the classic palm.